Good afternoon. This is Miss Srimanti Bottlebell, and for today's language session for class 6A, we will be discussing the chapter pronoun in details. Before going into details, let us talk about what a pronoun really is. A pronoun takes the place of a noun. It acts as a substitute for a particular noun. What does that exactly mean? Let us understand it better with the help of an example which contains 3 sentences, all talking about one person. That person is Rani. So look at the examples. Rani is a doctor. Rani goes to the hospital every day. Rani has to wear a PPE suit for Rani's work. In this case, there are 3 sentences. In each of this sentence, the subject is the same, Rani. But the subject, in spite of being the same, is being repeated again and again in these 3 separate sentences. So to avoid this repetition, what we can do is to substitute the noun Rani with the pronoun she and her. How does that work? The first sentence would of course be the same because the first sentence introduces the subject. So the first sentence remains Rani is a doctor. In the second sentence, instead of saying Rani goes to the hospital every day, I can say she goes to the hospital every day. In the third sentence, instead of saying Rani wears a PPE suit for Rani's work, I can say she wears a PPE suit for her work. Now, in this case, look at the third sentence. She wears a PPE suit for her work. Now here, the noun is the same, Rani, but I am using 2 different kinds of pronouns. Why? Because the pronoun she can be always used as the subject pronoun. So when I am using the noun Rani in the place of a subject, I can use the subject pronoun she. When I am using the noun Rani in object's place, I have to use the object pronoun her. So though the noun remains the same, the pronouns differ when it comes to the position of the noun. The pronouns will always change according to the position of the noun. Now let us talk about the types of pronouns. The first type is a personal pronoun. Personal pronouns like he, she, him, her are always associated with particular people. Now in this case, just remember the example that I gave in the previous part when I was explaining the concept of pronoun. The fact that she was used in the place of the subject noun Rani, and the fact that her was used in the place of the object noun Rani tells us about the different kinds of personal pronouns that we can use. So she and her are both personal pronouns. Difference is she is a subject personal pronoun and her is an object personal pronoun. So personal pronouns differ according to the position of the subject. So I becomes me, he becomes him, she becomes her, we becomes us, etc. In this case, one very important concept that we must remember is the use of it. It refers to non-living beings. It also refers to living creatures whose gender is not known to me or whose gender is not very important at the moment. For example, I can say the child is crying, it is looking for its mother. Now I do not know whether the child is a male or a female, or because it's an infant, right now the gender of the child is not very important. So that is why I'm using the pronoun it. Or if I say the dog is howling, it is looking for its owner. So in this case, I do not know if the dog is a male or a female, so I'm using the pronoun it. But here, always remember that the word it can be used as a pronoun only when it replaces a noun. So in the examples that I stated above, it replaced the noun dog and the noun cat. So that is why it became a pronoun. But in the case of a sentence like it is raining loudly or it is raining heavily, the pronoun it is not replacing any noun. right? We cannot ask the question what is raining because there is no noun in the sentence. So in this case, it is not a pronoun. Now we come to the next category of pronouns, reflexive pronouns and emphatic pronouns. Now, what are reflexive and emphatic pronouns? Let's look at two sentences. The boy hurt himself while playing football. She made the cake herself. Now look at the first sentence. The boy hurt himself while playing football. If I remove the word himself here, the sentence is not very clear. The boy hurt dash while playing the football. Whom did the boy hurt? The boy can hurt himself, the boy can hurt a friend, the boy can hurt a member of the opponent team. So it's not very clear whom did the boy hurt. So in this case, the pronoun himself is a reflexive pronoun because it helps us to understand who the boy hurt. In the second sentence, she made the cake herself. The pronoun herself does not have a real job in the sentence. It is merely adding emphasis. If I remove the pronoun herself and say she made the cake, the sentence is extremely clear. You know that it is she who made the cake and not her mother or father. So the sentence is very clear. It does not need the pronoun herself. All that the pronoun herself is doing is adding an emphasis. It is again providing an emphasis to the pronoun she. So that is why herself in the second sentence is an emphatic pronoun. Remember, when a pronoun does no work except add an emphasis, it's an emphatic pronoun. And reflexive pronouns always help us to understand. Reflexive pronouns are not just for emphasis. Reflexive pronouns actually add a lot of information to the sentence. So that is the basic difference between reflexive and emphatic pronouns. Now we come to possessive pronouns and also the difference between possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives. Now, as the very name suggests, possessive pronouns show ownership or possession. The book is mine, the table is hers, the bag is his. So here the pronouns like mine, his, hers is telling you about the ownership of the particular nouns. So in this case, possessive pronouns tells you who the owner or who possesses that particular noun. Possessive adjective does the same work. This is my book. So the word my, which is a possessive adjective, is telling you about the owner of the book. Then what is the difference between the two? Right. The difference here is that the word my is appearing before the noun book. It is not replacing the noun. It is merely adding as a qualifier. And we all know that the work of the adjective is to qualify the noun. It is to give us extra information about the noun. In the first sentence, when I say this book is mine, the word mine is actually replacing a noun. It could have been this book is Sheila's or this book is Hari's. So the word mine was replacing a noun, which is why it was a pronoun. But when I say this is my book, my is qualifying the noun book. It is not replacing any other noun. It is merely acting as an adjective. It is giving you more information about the noun book. It is appearing right before the noun. So following this particular rule, we can understand that the words like my, in this case a word like my which is coming in front of a noun and giving us more information about a noun is possessive adjective. And when a pronoun or when a word replaces a noun, that word becomes a possessive pronoun. So this is her bag. In this case, her is a possessive adjective because it is giving us more information about the noun bag. It is also coming in front of the noun. It is appearing right in front of the noun. But if I say this bag is hers, then the word hers is replacing a noun. It could have been this bag is Sheila's or this bag is Rani's. And the pronoun hers is merely giving us information about the ownership of the bag. So this case, it's a possessive pronoun. It is not appearing in front of the noun. It is not qualifying the noun, which is why it is a possessive pronoun and not a possessive adjective. In this particular case, one important distinction that we must learn and understand is the difference between who and whom. Now, who and whom are often interchanged, but let us understand when exactly we should use who and when exactly to use whom. Now, there's a very simple and easy rule for remembering it. Whenever you are being asked a question using who or whom, always think of the answer and think if the answer is a subject pronoun or an object pronoun. For example, if I say, who is teaching us, the answer can be she is teaching us. So in this case, she is a subject. It is not being used as an object. In case of she, it could have been Mrs. Maisel is teaching us, or Mrs. Dixit is teaching us. So in this case, these words are subject nouns. They are not being used as object. So in this case, the word that we must use, the correct interrogative pronoun is who. But if I say, whom are you cooking for? The answer can be, I'm cooking for her, I'm cooking for him, I'm cooking for them. So him or her or them are all objects. They are being used as an object in a sentence. They are not being used as a subject. So in this case, whom, W-H-O-M, will be the correct interrogative pronoun. So always remember, if the answer comes as the subject of the sentence, then you are supposed to use who, and if the answer comes as the object in the sentence, you are to use whom, that is W-H-O-M. Now let us look at the other types of pronouns that we have. Next we come to indefinite pronouns. Now indefinite pronouns are used when we do not exactly know about the particular noun. It does not indicate to us any particular nouns. When we do not know the exact identity of the noun or the subject of the sentence, or we do not know the exact number, then we use indefinite pronouns. For example, if I write, anything can happen. Now we do not know exactly what will happen. So here the pronoun anything is an indefinite pronoun. Or if I say, everyone has come to the party, I do not know the exact number of people who have come to the party. I am guessing that all who had been invited have come. So in this case, everyone, and even the pronoun that I just used, all, is an indefinite pronoun because it does not give us the exact identity of the subject, or it does not give us the exact number of the subject. Next we come to relative pronoun. Relative pronoun usually connects a clause or phrase to a noun or pronoun. That is, it adds two or more parts of the sentence that give us two extra pieces of information. If you find this difficult to remember, just remember this. Relative pronouns give us some extra information about the subject, and it always reverts back to the subject of the sentence. For example, when I say the driver who ran the stop sign was careless, the pronoun who is again referring or coming back to the subject of the sentence, that is the driver. It is reverting back to the subject, that is the driver. So it is giving us more information about the subject, and it is referring back to the subject of the sentence. Now, how does it add two or more parts of the sentence into one single sentence? If I want, I can actually divide this particular sentence into two parts. I can say the driver ran the stop sign, the driver was careless. These are two sentences, both giving us information about the driver. So when I can join these two sentences with the help of the relative pronoun who. So the driver who ran the stop sign was careless. Now do not get confused between a relative pronoun and a conjunction. Alright, because relative pronouns, remember, they always revert back to the subject of the sentence. Apart from joining two parts of the same group of sentences, it also refers back or reverts back to the subject of the sentence. So relative pronouns like who, whom, which, whoever, whomever, whichever, that always give us some extra information about the subject by reverting back to the subject. Next we come to a very easy pronoun, which is a demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, as the very name suggests, is used to demonstrate or indicate, point out towards specific nouns. Point out towards specific nouns. For example, these shoes are ugly or those are lovely. So in this case, those are lovely is acting as a demonstrative pronoun because it is pointing out at particular nouns. Next we come to interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns, as the very name suggests again, are used to ask a question. Like we just discussed the interrogative pronouns who and whom. Other than that, we also have which, whose, that, what, whoever, whomever. All these pronouns act as interrogative pronouns and they are used to ask questions in a particular sentence. So with this we come to an end of the chapter pronouns. Remember the types of pronouns and very important the difference between who and whom and when is a pronoun reflexive and when is a pronoun emphatic. Remember the types of pronouns: reflexive, personal, emphatic, possessive, demonstrative and interrogative. And when we come to possessive pronouns, it is very important to remember the difference between a possessive pronoun and a possessive adjective. So remember that, and with that we come to the end of the chapter pronouns.